Good morning, y'all, and welcome back to Apron Strings. It's kind of cloudy and overcast here, but thank goodness the rain's gone and my yard is almost dry. Tell y'all what, that flood, I had water on my porch, my front porch, my whole front porch was covered. It's never been like that. But since the big flood from Harvey and then the previous flood in the late 90s, we've had a lot of development in the woods across from me over there. They put in a subdivision and all the growth changes the flow of the water. And my road dead ends on down at the east fork of the San Jacinto River. So when the river starts rising, the people on at the end are going to flood. Now, it came up pretty far in my yard, but no further than it's ever come in the past. And one time Troy shot the grade on it, and it was going to have to rise 4 foot across the board to even get up to our house. So I felt reasonably safe, but I was nervous because the gully in the back was fuller than it's ever been. So it could have come in from the back and not the side. Anyway, thank God it didn't. And I'm high and dry in the house and everything's good. It did get in Troy's shop. It got in it before, and he never really felt like cleaning everything up in there. So I hadn't even opened the door to look in and see what it looks like. I guess one day the grandson will go down there and check it out. But today, one of my favorite things to eat is a baked potato. And when I was growing up, I didn't know what a baked potato was. Mama she would boil potatoes and call them potatoes with their jacket on. And then we would just put butter on it. That's all we ever knew to do. When I turned 16, I went to work at Southwestern Bell in Cleveland as a telephone operator. And when you had your 2 weeks training finished, they took you to the nicest restaurant in town. It was called Boyette's. And they bought you a steak dinner. Well, I never had a real steak like that. We couldn't afford that. And I'd never been, I don't even know if I had ever eaten at Boyette's or not. But anyway, steak dinner and a baked potato. And I didn't even know what to do with that baked potato. I watched the girl next to me and I did what she did. And they brought this little thing with 3 or 4 little bowls on it. I know what it is. That's to hold your condiments, but it had sour cream and butter and green onions and bacon bits, and boy, you put that on that potato and I was hooked for life. And then years later, fast forward to when Troy and I married, when microwaves came out. I've always liked kitchen gadgets, and he was always sweet to buy me the latest and best. So I was one of the first ones around here that in my church that got a microwave. And we ate baked potatoes like they was going out of style because they cook quick in that microwave. So I've told y'all all that history and let you listen to me ramble. Because today I'm going to do something that I saw on the internet. I haven't done it before. But we're going to boil some little potatoes, and I've already washed them. Let me get my pot and let me get my potatoes and I'll show you. There's my pot. And I'm just going to do 6, and you can do as many as you want to do, but we're going to boil them, and then we're going to put them in a muffin tin, and we're going to dress them all up real good. So I'm just going to put it on the stove and fill it with water and boil them. And I think I'm going to put a little bit of salt in my water. When I redid my kitchen, this was one of the things I requested, was a pot filler at the stove, and I have really enjoyed it. Okay, I'm going to leave this on high till they start boiling. And then I want them to be soft. I went outside and mosquitoes bit me and I'm itching. I had Orkin come and they sprayed my house for bugs and the outside for mosquitoes. And it doesn't hurt your animals and it doesn't hurt the bees. Whatever they use is safe. But it came the flood right after they sprayed. So I've got some mosquitoes out there, but they'll be back to do it again. But anyway, that's why I keep itching. Mosquitoes bit me. You cook these potatoes until you can stick a fork in them and they're soft. And then we're going to do some more stuff to them. So y'all just hang with me while I boil the potatoes, and when they get done, I'll come back and we'll finish it up. I'll get my green onions ready to go on the top. And I'm going to cut the roots off, and I'll tell y'all, I've saved the rest of them from these onions. And y'all know these things have gone up to 99 cents and more. I'm going to plant these out in a pot in the garden. And I'll have green onions again out there. Yeah, green onions are off the charts anymore. Okay, I'm just going to See my Cutco knife? Thank you, Anna and Glenn. I think about y'all every day. I'm just going to cut these chives in little pieces, the green part. Green onions, they're not chives, but they look like them. I think they're their first cousin. I have chives, but I'm not wading out there and get it. It's still muddy. Now they're predicting we're going to have a horrible hurricane season. Well, you know what? When they predict it, somehow I think they make it happen. So I'm dreading that. Hurricane season starts in June. June to November. I don't know how those hurricanes know when to come. Whew, that onion's hot. Actually, it's the temperature of the water and all that. And they said that our waters in the Gulf are much warmer already than they usually are. So by the time the true season gets here, it's going to be very, very ready for a hurricane. Favorable conditions, though. Y'all will be updated on all that activity if it starts. I just love these red and black dish towels. I got these at Hobby Lobby, half price after Christmas one year. Robert somebody is the designer, and they have this stuff every year, but I sure have enjoyed because it matches my kitchen. Okay, I got my onions ready. I got bacon bits somewhere. I got to see if I can find them. And I know I have sour cream and cheese, so we're going to have fancied up baked potatoes here directly. They're boiling real good, so when it gets to where they're soft enough, then I'll come back and show y'all. Something else y'all are going to be seeing probably in the next video. I was invited to be part of a collaboration for a company called WeVac, and it's a vacuum chamber sealer, and they mailed it to me, and I'll be doing and dedicating a whole video to the vacuum chamber, showing y'all how it works, what the features are, and the wonderful thing is, yeah, I will have a coupon code for 15% off if y'all want to order one, and that'll be awesome. So we'll be having that video coming up. So if you see the box behind me on the island thingy, you'll be seeing it before too long. Okay, they've boiled, and I can just stick my knife right down in them. So that means they're soft enough. I'm going to drain the water off, get back to the butcher block, and we'll finish this up. I have sprayed my cupcake pan, muffin pan, with some kitchen spray, or it's like Pam, but it's olive oil spray. And by the way, people are going to ask, because it's beautiful, this is Crow Canyon, and I don't even know where to tell you to get them. I ordered them from a little store in Alabama, and I don't even remember what its name was. But anyhow, and I love them because they don't, stuff don't stick to them bad. You're going to put one potato in each little hole. And they're hot. Hot potato. Now let me get my something. This is my tart tamper that I've probably never used, but it's mine. And you're just going to mash each one of these potatoes. You're just going to squish it open, okay? That's why you scrub them real good when you cook them, before you cook them, because you're going to leave peelings on them. Okay, now what I'm going to do is get some butter out and put a little bit of butter on each one. Open them up a little bit. Okay, let me get some butter out of the ice box. Y'all go ahead and laugh. Going to put a little bit of butter in each one. Can't have too much butter, but these are just little potatoes, so rocket science, y'all. Slice it and lay it in there. Okay, there's my butter. And I'm going to put a few green onions blades because I like them. Now, I don't have any bacon bits open. I've got a big bag in the freezer, and I didn't want to open that because I'm not going to use enough of it. So I'm not putting bacon on them, but I'll show you what I'm going to do when I bring them back out of the oven in a minute. I'm going to get my cheese out and put my cheddar cheese on top of each one. Then we're going to stick them in the oven at 350 and melt the cheese, and then we'll finish dressing them up. Got my big old bag of cheese out. And I generally get the Mexican blend and use that for everything, so that's what I'm doing. And you just put however much cheese that you feel like you need. It's kind of like butter, the more the better. Alright, I'm going to pop this into my oven that I've preheated to 350. I'm going to let the cheese melt, and then we will come back and put some on a plate and finish dressing them up. Let me get them over to the oven. Y'all, I've loved that June oven and loved it, and they sold out to Weber, and they're not going to make the June oven anymore. I don't know if they're going to come out with something better, what they're going to do, but it makes me sad. Set the timer for 10 minutes, and it's got probably 4 or 5 minutes left. The cheese is melted, but I'm just going to let it melt a little more. I had an uncle, he'd have a pot on the stove, and I mean, that pot would be jumping up and down boiling, and you'd say, "Uncle Abe, that's boiling." He'd say, "Yeah, I'm going to let it get a little hotter." So I'm going to let them get a little meltier. But I want to tell y'all something. You know how I always warn you and admonish you to have a little bit of stuff ahead, have what you need? I'm going to tell you what, when this flood started, and the news got out, you know, the roads may be closed, the river's rising, the stores were full of people, and they were running out of stuff on the shelves. I didn't even have to go to town. I had everything I needed. And that was a lesson to some around me that they need to be prepared too. I had milk in the ice box, I had butter, I had bacon, and I've got eggs from the chickens, had bread, made bread too. I'm going to show y'all my big old pretty loaf of sourdough bread. My sourdough recipe makes 2 of the small loaf pans, but I like to cook 1 big loaf in the Pullman pan to where I can slice it for sandwich bread. Look at that bread. Isn't that pretty? And I just slice mine when I get ready for a slice because it seems to me it doesn't dry out as bad. But I absolutely love sourdough bread, and when I don't have it and I have to use that store-bought stuff, it don't taste good. That store-bought stuff turns to mush. This has some body to it. Anyway, I made me some bread, had everything I needed, plenty of toilet paper and paper towel. Y'all need to remember that. I know a bunch of you do the same thing I do, but some of the younger people just don't see the need. Well, you either have to see the need or do without if something happens. I've told you, we never know if it's going to be a hurricane, a tornado, a flood. We don't know what's going to happen. We wasn't expecting this. So just get you some stuff ahead, as much as you can afford, and rotate the crop. Use what's in the front and buy some more. But I tell you, when you replace it, it's going to be a whole lot higher than it was when you bought it, because every time I go to the store, the price has increased. Now I'm fixing to get me a little straw trivet and put on my butcher block, because even if I set a dish towel down and set my hot pan on it, pulls the oils up out of the wood, and then you have to retreat it. But if you put it on something that the air flows, protects the wood. So I'm going to get me a little straw trivet and get the potatoes out, get some on a plate, and we're going to doctor them up, and I'm going to have some to eat. Just be back in just a minute. Oh, we made pizza the other night and had a pizza party. And I had some bacon and a little bit of deer sausage left that I cut up. So I will have some meat on my potato today. Alright, let me get my trivet, let me get my stuff out, and I'll be back. I just let y'all go with me down here to the stove, to the oven, get my trivet out. Come here, please. Let me show y'all. See? So I'll get them out of here and get them on a plate, and then I'll come back and we'll doctor them all up. How's that? Okay, I got them out. And they're just little individual pieces to eat. And now I'm going to doctor them up. I want a little bit of salt, and I use pink Himalayan salt. Y'all can use whatever you want to. I like it because it doesn't have any fillers in it. And then I'm going to put some black pepper on them. Your choice. I'm going to put a little bit of onion and garlic powder on them. Just a minute. That just makes them good, y'all. Gotta have some flavor. If you hold it up higher, it spreads out more, goes on better. Okay, now that we've got that taken care of, I'm going to put a little bit of bacon. I like the bacon crunchier. This has been in the ice box because I put everything from the pizza making in there. But that's okay. And then I'm just going to sprinkle this deer sausage around on here. Y'all, it's so good. Pork and venison. My grandson killed that deer. And they had it processed somewhere nearby. I'm going to put a little bit more of my onions on because I like them. Then I'm going to put me a dollop of sour cream on the top of each one. And when I open my sour cream, I stir it because it's always separated a little bit. So I stir it up real good. Okay, let me wash my hands, and I want to get my cheese back out. Put a little bit more cheese on it. Okay, here they are, all ready for me to get this fork that I got laying here and taste of them. Y'all hang on just a minute while I get this camera back on the tripod. I'm going to taste right off the plate because it's my plate and I'm the only one here. Let me find that little bitty one. It's in the middle. Get over. Somebody may stop by after a while that wants something, but I don't know of anybody that's coming. It's amazing, y'all. That tastes just like a baked potato. I'm bringing a little bit of my childhood back with the taters in a jacket, smashed. I mean, if Mama had known to do this, those potatoes in a jacket that she cooked, we'd thought we was rich people. We'd been in high cotton. Anyway, this is a good, something different to do with your baked potatoes if you're going to have like fried fish or shrimp or whatever, and you want to bake steak, baked potato with it. That's a cool little way to do it. You don't have to run your oven near as long if you boil them first and smash them, as opposed to baking them in a 500-degree oven for an hour. Summertime's coming, so we need to do everything we can to keep our light bill down. So I hope y'all will try this. It's a pretty cool little idea, I think. Yep, it's a pretty cool idea. That's what I'm thinking. I will do this again. That was fun. I'm gonna get busy and try to make a couple of more videos and get back on a normal. But every time I say normal, something else messes up my normal. But I'm gonna try to get back on track. Thank you so much for watching the videos, the older ones. Welcome to all the new subscribers. It means the world to me to get on my channel and see that I've got more new people that subscribed. When we get to 25,000, I'm going to dance a little jig and probably do a giveaway. Not that far away either. One of these days we'll get there. In the meantime, put your little bit of stuff up. We don't know what's going on. Part of the country's having tornadoes, part of the country's having floods, part of the country needs rain. You don't ever know what we're going to face. Have your pantry full, because I've told you, if you can gather that family around the table and have a good meal, that fixes a lot of anxiety and a lot of problems. Just the the cohesive togetherness of family and the security involved in that. So have enough stuff in your pantry to make a meal regardless of what happens, and it'll make things a whole lot better. The good Lord bless and keep y'all. We're going to do that vacuum chamber in a video shortly, and I have some other stuff that I'm going to do too. I'll see y'all pretty soon.